Eugen Systems just released a new insight video on how the Steel Division 2 campaign will look like. And today we're going to have a look at it, and yeah, I'll give you guys my thoughts about it. And if you do want to see the original, it is linked below. So let's get to it.
Welcome to this new Steel Division 2 gameplay video. Today we're going to play Army General, the brand new single-player turn-based dynamic strategic campaigns. This is the fourth campaign of the game, Baranovici, and we're playing as the Red Army. We are on July 3rd, 1944. The German army is finally receiving enough reinforcements to set a consistent defense in order to stop the tired Red Army's progression. But Hitler orders a counterattack towards Stopsy to reopen the road to Minsk.
That is a beautiful map, by the way. I'm just going to pause it here. So yeah, it is turn-based, as you know. That really opens a
Our objective is to hold Stopsy and
new
capture
layer of
Baranovici.
replayability.
Each turn in the game is one half a day long. Every battalion in the game has a set number of action points. Action points can be used to move, attack a position, or perform specific actions such as deploying anti-air or digging in. An attack will need 3 action points, 1 per phase. The first thing to do is to assess the forces involved. By selecting a battalion, we have access to a different array of information. Below the name of the battalion, there are its characteristics, including the number of action points resupplied at each turn, and the type of battalion, including the bonuses it grants.
That's really user-friendly.
This battalion is motorized, which means it can travel more miles per turn.
Oh, that's awesome.
We can also see that this battalion is deployed, which means it will have a bonus in defense if attacked. In tactical mode, it means the battle will be in breakthrough without defensive structures. If this battalion was fortified, the battle would be played with defensive structures.
That is really cool. So that's actually a really nice way of also implementing the breakthrough game mode, not in just multiplayer or skirmish, but also actually in the campaign. That is really awesome.
The battalion's composition shows the detailed number of units within it. These units determine the combat values of the battalion in each category, such as melee, armored, artillery, anti-air, and aerial escape. Each unit in the game has a combat value that will increase the battalion's skills. The combat value is influenced by several parameters, such as its veterancy.
Now also, that is a really good way of implementing the veterancy, because a lot of people found it kind of pretty much useless in multiplayer to upvet their units if they could just get a leader next to them and like a commander linked to that leader. But here it seems to really make a big difference. So I think people will really think differently about veterancy, especially in the campaign.
This value indicates the average quality of the units in this category. For example, the strongest German tanks will score a solid 25 points in quality. And finally, just below, the complete battalion's composition, where we can access all the detailed information about each unit within it.
That's handy.
In this operation, our forces are mainly composed by infantry battalions, with some armored battalions, with roughly 4-to-1 ratio. On the top of the area, we're going to secure our position on Stopsy. This infantry battalion, well protected in forest, will guard the bridge. We're giving the order to dig in, which costs 2 action points, takes 1 turn to complete, and grants the possibility to deploy defensive structures if attacked. We're approaching our tank battalion in case our infantry battalion is attacked. It won't be optimal in forest, as tanks will be penalized, but we need protection.
Also, finally the bridges are actually doing something in the game, because usually you cannot destroy them, obviously, but to see them as a choke point in the campaign is a really nice detail.
We're also approaching our artillery battalion, which will provide a nice bonus. We could use our recon battalion to keep an eye on the other bridge, but we prefer to use it to identify what's coming towards Stopsy. In this area, we could bypass this group of battalions and cut them from their supply line. Nevertheless, a breakthrough would secure the main road and give us access to this point, which is, as we can see with this flag, where we can call the first mechanized corps as a reinforcement. We'll get to that later.
Okay. So far I'm very
We're
impressed.
moving the infantry battalions forward and put them in forest as it offers a nice bonus.
Right, I was gonna say, like, are those the only enemy units on the front line? But it looks like there is more hidden that we couldn't see.
We won't have enough action points to both move our battalions and attack a position on this turn, as an attack costs 3 action points, 1 per phase. We are also moving our battalions forward in order to prepare them for a breakthrough.
Interesting. In this case, the front line makes a lot of sense.
We're
The
staying on
animated
the
front
road
line.
as much as we can, as it offers a movement bonus. Our first turn is now complete. Time to let our opponent play.
Okay, so it's like half a day, I believe, every turn.
As we can see, it mostly stays in defense and brings some battalions to attack Stobsey. But we can only see movements of the battalions that are in sight. A lot is probably happening behind the enemy lines. We're receiving news from the front throughout the campaign. We are now in the afternoon of July 3rd, and the Soviet troops just liberated Minsk.
That's up in the north. I
Our
believe.
action points are resupplied, but only for the battalions within our lines. A battalion behind enemy lines won't be able to be resupplied. Back in the Stobsey area, we could decide to move our recon battalion forward, but with a risk of cutting it from the front line,
Nah,
which
do
would
it.
prevent it from being resupplied. Let's put it back in safety. As a general, we are able to call reinforcements from 3 Army Corps. All of the reinforcements are displayed on the top of the screen. In order to call reinforcements, we need command points, every turn bringing additional command points. As we are on July 3rd in the afternoon, 2 brigades are available.
So, how do you get the command points,
Before
though?
calling a reinforcement, we can check every battalion composition within it.
I guess you
We
get
can
it from
deploy our
territory?
reinforcements in the cities and villages we have captured.
Because it used to be with, for example, if we look at the earlier Eugen titles like Wargame, you received command points by taking over certain regions, and it was also a base amount of command points you would get per turn. But I'm not quite sure how you get them in this case. I guess from taking over those flags.
2 other corps will be deployable in different places on the map, but they will be available later. We can check their availability right here in order to prepare our strategy in advance. As we already have a lot of infantry battalions, we're deploying the 1st Mechanized Corps in this train station. The freshly deployed battalions arrive by train with 2 action points. We're bringing them to the front line. Let's prepare our first combat.
What's
First, we're giving the superiority order to the 347th Fighter Regiment that will limit the Germans' air force.
that? That's really cool.
These bars under each battalion's label give an indication of the battalion's strength: melee, armored, and artillery. We're attacking this position by right-clicking on it and make our battle plan. Each battalion that is close enough to join the fight will have a letter above it. This is the phase it will be able to join.
That is really nice, because it used to be very confusing when it came to units that you were actually able to move up to the front. But now it's already predetermined which one you can use and in which phase it is, so that's really nice.
In the battle. The phase is also determined by the remaining action points. 3 action points for Phase A, 2 for Phase B, 1 for Phase C. We're adding up to 3 battalions to the battle by right-clicking on them. The number of units, as well as the combat values, adds up to give us an idea of how the battle will play. From there, we have 3 options to solve this battle: auto-resolve, semi-auto resolve, and real-time tactical battle.
What's that?
When playing on auto resolve, we will rely on the combat values of the battalions to make decisions.
No, they got reinforcements though.
The after-action report details, phase per phase, the losses in each camp. In semi-auto resolve, the battle happens phase by phase. At each phase, you can select the units that will join the battle.
I think that's probably what I will do most of the time. Yeah, I'm getting actually pretty excited about
Each battalion
this.
has 50 activation points per phase. You can also auto-select the units and launch the resolution. And finally, we can choose to fight the tactical battle in real time. Before starting the battle, we can select to choose 1, 2, or all of the involved battalions, and to let the AI control the other ones.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Moreover,
oh, you can also switch.
We can also decide to move companies from a battalion to another. But beware, the available deployment and requisition points will remain the same per battalion. So be smart about it.
Don't tell me what to do.
When launching the battle, the game selects a tactical map and a game mode depending on the situation on the strategic map.
They need, one thing here is they need a lot of maps. Like, I don't want to keep playing the same map that is like angled at a 45 degree, or, you know, like you start on the other side instead of side X. Whenever you do a battle at different areas, they definitely need a lot of maps. Like currently they have, what, 5 maps, I think? I would say I would feel comfortable with like 15 maps at the minimum to really make really make it replayable. Because at some point, if you even play the campaign twice, you're gonna probably be through every single map in like both orientations of it. So that is the only thing that I'm really questioning at the moment.
Army General's tactical battle differs from skirmish in 2 ways. First, the economy is different. All tanks and anti-tank units are worth 3 requisition points.
Interesting.
All the other units are worth 1 requisition point. Second, the deployment menu now presents the units per company. More than ever, it's important to take care of the units during the battle because, as you can imagine, every lost unit won't be available in the strategic campaign anymore. Finally, let's have a look at the top left of the screen, where we can visit the operation status, the operations order of battle, the casualty list.
Oh wow, it even gives the soldier numbers? That is really funny.
Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to pre-order the game now to get your beta key.
Do it, guys. Pre-order it now. That was cool. Thank you, Eugen Systems, for making such a great game. I'm expecting you in the comment section, that's for sure. I'm gonna heart that comment. But I hope you guys enjoyed this sneak preview into the game of Eugen Systems called Steel Division 2. I will definitely be posting more and more about this game in the future. So the next beta phase starts on March 30th until the release of the game. So if you haven't pre-ordered it yet, do it now. And I'll see you guys back on the battlefield. Take care.